3 expert tips to help you master your hot yoga practice. I'm talking about Bikram yoga, Barkan yoga, any type of hot yoga, any type of yoga at all. And I'm going to throw in a 4th bonus tip, so make sure you watch the video all the way to the end. Tip number 1, less in the beginning, more at the end, in pretty much every posture that we do. One of the biggest problems I see, especially in beginners, they go too far too soon.
Don't do that. Please don't do that.
Here's what happens when you go too far too soon. It's too much. The body begins to react to protect itself. Therefore, it blocks you out of the pose. It's not going to allow you to go deep into the position. But if you start out nice and easy, slowly, especially when we're doing a posture like half moon, for example, and that's in the Bikram roll, that's how they start the class, with a half moon pose, after the breathing, of course. And if you go too far too soon, number 1, you're not going to be able to maintain that intensity, and 2, you could hurt yourself. And 3, you're probably going to have to come out of it early. But if you ease your way into the pose, it makes all the difference. So do not go to your full position. Take your time. If you ever had a deep tissue massage, the same thing happens. If the masseuse goes really deep in the beginning, you're going to tighten up. The body's going to tighten up to protect itself, and it's going to block you, and you're going to hurt yourself, and you're going to tell them to stop. But if they go in slowly, take their time. When I'm getting a massage, I always tell them, go slowly at first, and then I'll let you in. My body will actually allow you in. So take your time. Same thing in the yoga practice. Start out slow. Now the body will respond because the body trusts you. But before we continue on, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, hit the notification bell. Any questions or comments, put them down below. I'm happy to get back to you. Now, if you've been watching the channel, you know that Bikram was my teacher, and at one point I became Bikram's most senior teacher, but I had another teacher that was very influential in my yoga practice. That was Emmy Cleaves. She taught me the advanced class. When I started doing the advanced class in 1981, Bikram had already stopped teaching it. He stopped teaching it a couple years before. So Emmy taught me the advanced class. What she would do to teach me, to coach me in a pose, she would wait until I was just about to come out of the pose, and then she would start to coach me. Shoulders back. Stretch further, go a little deeper, because she knew if she waited at the end of the pose, that's when I'm going to peak to my full expression. Because if you peak too early, you're going to come out of it, the body's going to react. But if you take your time, you ease your way into the pose, you're going to find your full expression because the body is going to trust you and allow you in.
This makes so much sense.
Tip number 2, find the experience. If you're just concentrating on getting better and improving, and a lot of people aren't. A lot of people don't care about improving. They're probably not watching this video. And we can learn something from them because they get into the experience of the pose. So if you are, however, if your goal is to get better in this yogic practice, find the experience in each pose. Because at one point, the goal wasn't to always get better. You're going to peak. I call this the curve. Let's say you're doing your practice 4, 5, 6 times a week. At the beginning of your practice, you're going to go up on that curve. You're going to increase. You're going to get better. You're going to have breakthroughs. At one point, you're going to plateau. You're going to get to your full peak. And I always say at that point, make sure you take as many pictures and videos as you can so you can show your grandchildren. But at one point, you're going to start to go down on the curve because gravity, maturity is going to take over. Meaning, there's no way you're doing yoga at 90 years old at the same way you're doing it when you're 40 or 50. Your body's going to change. Dharma Mitri, a very popular yogi from a different style of yoga, says he's like in his 70s now, maybe close to 80 years old. He says he loses one posture every year. So is the goal always to get better? No. In the beginning of the curve, you can begin to improve. You're going to have those breakthroughs. That's wonderful. At the same time, it's not just about the ambition to get better in the pose. It's also about finding the experience when you're in it. It's easy to find the experience when you're in Shavasana, especially after the standing poses are over. In my class, I call it the second most important moment of the class. Not the most important posture, but the most important moment of the class. What's the most important moment? You probably figured it out. The last Shavasana when the class is over. Bikram pronounces it wrong. He pronounces it Savasana, but there's an SH sound. Shavasana is the proper Sanskrit pronunciation. Anyway, just a side note. So now you're in Shavasana. It's easy to find the experience. When you're after the standing poses are over, and this is a really important part of the experience, this is part of what they call Raja Yoga, the mental integration of what's going on in your body. You're laying there in Shavasana, you want to feel the blood and oxygen moving into the body, going between the cells to build the cells. And then even a more subtle, stronger energy is the Prana Shakti. in the ethereal body that flows between the cells. So as we do our Shavasana, I want you to be conscious of this phenomenon that's taking place that accelerates the process. It accelerates the phenomenon. So as you're thinking about this concept of the blood and oxygen flowing, the prana shakti flowing into the body, that's part of the experience. That's the mental aspect of what they call Raja Yoga. And when you can combine your Hatha Yoga practice with the Raja Yoga concept, it makes all the difference. One posture that I added in the Barkan method practice is pigeon pose. Now, Bikram does royal pigeon. We call Raja Kapotasana in the advanced class. We do a less advanced version of it. It's almost sort of like a half pigeon in the Barkan method class when we're doing our hip opening days. So now you're closing your eyes. When you're closing your eyes, you don't have an external focus anymore. Now it goes within. So it's now easy to find your experience in pigeon pose with your eyes closed, because now we're entering what we call in yoga pratyahara, which was Patanjali's fifth limb. In the Hatha Yoga, Sapta Sadhana, the seventh path, it's the fourth path where we go within. It's a preliminary state for meditation so that we can block out the external stimulus and go within. So with your eyes closed in pigeon pose, it's much easier to find the experience. So we can use the reference of Shavasana in pigeon pose into the postures that are more intense, like standing hip to knee, half moon, standing bow, and find the experience. Even though we're focusing on alignment, we're focusing on improving, we want to do less in the beginning, more at the end, tip 1. I also want to challenge you to find the experience in the pose so you can enjoy the process, not just the after effects. Find the experience. Tip number 3, treat and practice the first set different than the second set. In the Bikram world, they do 2 sets of pretty much every single pose. In the Barkan world, same thing. Not as many poses in the Bikram world where we do 2 sets, but we do 2 sets of many of the postures. So the first set is the warm-up set. It's the awareness set, alignment set. Where's our position? Where's our body? Going back to tip 1, we're doing even less in the first set. We're taking our time. We're setting ourselves up. Is it the first day of your practice? Meaning if you're doing 5 days a week, this is Monday, your first day, it's going to be different than Friday. Take your time. Understand that. If it's Friday, you may be more open because momentum is built during the week. Maybe you went for a run the day before and your body's tight, stiff, or maybe you're feeling really strong and flexible. We take inventory in the first set to build our awareness. Now here's an interesting concept. Let's say you're feeling really strong and really flexible and like you could almost do anything, and then you feel that in the first set. Those are the days when you're feeling super strong. You have to back off. Those are the days that I've hurt myself because I pushed it too much. My body's feeling really strong, therefore it's more resistant. On the other side of that coin, the days you're feeling a little tired, days you're feeling a little weak, those are the days you can push it because it almost ties into tip number 1. Your body's going to be less resistant. It's going to be more open. You can go further and deeper. So days you're feeling tired and days you're feeling wiped out, that's when you want to push it. Days you're feeling really strong and powerful, back off. Back to tip number 3. Okay, we got the information on the first set. We did our awareness alignment concept of the first set. We know what's going on in the body. Now in the second set, we can go further and we can go deeper. Now, if you're injured, that's different. I did a video a while back called Healing Mode. The originator of this style of Hatha Yoga, Vishnu Ghosh, he created this style of yoga to heal the body. People don't come to Vishnu Ghosh in the Calcutta studio so they can straighten their leg and standing bow and wear Lululemon.
Oh, that's funny.
They come to Vishnu Ghosh because they have some kind of injury. So if you do have an injury, get your butt into that yoga class, because that'll change how you practice the second set. But if you don't have an injury, you're feeling strong, you're not feeling that strong, then we can push it in the second set. We can use the information, we've been there before in the first set, to go further in the second set. The last thing you want to do is practice the 2 sets the same. Almost ties back to tip number 1, less in the beginning, more at the end. You can feel this momentum shift taking place. So you can even do the first half of the second set like the first set. Take your time, go nice and slow, again tip 1, and then we can start to accelerate. Then we can start to move to the next level. Then we can start to crack our own whip to get us to that next level. Find the next inch. Where's the next centimeter? Take us all the way to our full expression because we built the momentum. And that brings us to our bonus tip, really tip number 4, tip number 3A, because I said there were 3 tips. Maybe the most profound thing I'll say on this channel, and I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. Rochelle, give me a drum roll. And that is this. When you're doing the practice, you want to find your starting point in every pose. Now, we find our starting point without judgment. We don't want to make the judgment, especially the negative judgment about how we're doing. I wish I was doing what she was doing. I wish I was doing what he was doing. When will I ever get to that point? That negative thought ripples into your physiology, actually slows down your practice. So find your starting point wherever that may be in every pose without judgment. And then ready, one more drum roll. Your next goal is the next inch, or if you're outside of the United States, 2.54 centimeters. I just looked it up. I just asked Siri. 2.54 centimeters. Where's that next level? That's it. If you're doing the standing bow and you're 15 inches from straightening your leg in the standing bow, that can't be your goal because your body's going to tighten up with the thought of it. Back to tip number 1 again. Instead, the next inch or the next 2.5 centimeters, the body can say, well, that I can do. That's a tangible goal. That's a tangible goal for your body to achieve. If you can go 1 inch or 2.54 centimeters every day within 20 days, 30 days, you're straightening your leg in the standing bow.
Always showing off.
So let me say it a little more eloquently. Find your starting point without judgment. Find the next inch. That's it. When you apply this understanding and philosophy in your yoga practice, it makes all the difference. So that's our episode for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Hit the notification bell. You get notified when I post a new video. You want to learn all about hot yoga, flows, tutorials, factoids. Hit the like and subscribe button right now. Any comments or questions, put them down below. I'm happy to get back to you. And I'll see you the next video. Bye, everyone.